Right now, as you watch this video, microscopic crystals might be forming inside your kidneys. You feel nothing. No pain, no warning signs, just tiny calcium oxalate fragments assembling themselves, one molecule at a time, in the delicate filtering tubes where your blood gets cleaned. Most people never think about kidney stones until the pain hits, and by then, those crystals have already grown large enough to block the narrow passages that carry urine from your kidneys to your bladder. The pain is described as worse than childbirth. But here's what almost nobody tells you. There's a critical window before stones form when your urine chemistry is shifting into dangerous territory, and specific alkaline foods can reverse that shift completely. The medical system waits until you're in the emergency room, doubled over in agony before offering solutions. But the truth is, stone formation is preventable at the chemical level, and 7 specific foods can change your internal environment so dramatically that crystals dissolve before they ever become stones. The first food on this list works like a chemical bodyguard inside your urine, and it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Lemon juice contains citrate, a compound that binds to calcium in your urine before it can combine with oxalate to form crystals. Think of it like this. Imagine calcium and oxalate as 2 puzzle pieces that lock together to form a stone. Citrate is a third piece that fits into calcium's slot first, blocking oxalate from ever connecting. Your kidneys naturally produce some citrate, but most people don't make enough, especially if you eat a lot of animal protein or processed salt, both of which acidify your urine and suppress citrate production. When researchers at Duke University analyzed urine samples from stone formers versus non-stone formers, they found that low citrate was one of the most common differences. Lemon juice raises urinary citrate levels more effectively than pharmaceutical potassium citrate in some patients, according to studies published by the University of Wisconsin. The mechanism is direct. The citric acid in lemon gets metabolized into bicarbonate, which alkalinizes your urine and prevents the acidic environment where calcium oxalate crystals thrive. Half a cup of pure lemon juice daily can raise urinary citrate by up to 40% within 72 hours. That's a measurable shift in kidney protection that happens faster than most people realize. Squeeze half a fresh lemon into a cup of water every morning on an empty stomach. Drink it through a straw to protect tooth enamel. The timing matters because your urine is most concentrated after overnight fasting, which means crystal formation risk is highest first thing in the morning. Flooding your system with citrate right then interrupts that risk window. Most people think of this next food as just water with a crunch, but it's actually one of the most underrated kidney protectors in existence. Cucumber is 96% water, but that remaining 4% contains potassium, magnesium, and silica, 3 minerals that actively alkalize urine and reduce crystal formation. Here's the surprise. Most people focus on drinking more water to prevent stones, but they forget that water alone doesn't change urine pH. You need electrolytes that shift the acid-base balance, and cucumber delivers them in a form your kidneys absorb easily. Potassium, in particular, counteracts the sodium that most Americans consume in excess, and high sodium increases calcium excretion in urine, which feeds stone formation. When you eat cucumber, you're not just diluting your urine, you're chemically changing it. The vegetable acts like a gentle diuretic, increasing urine volume without stressing the kidneys the way caffeine or pharmaceutical diuretics do. This is why traditional medicine in several cultures used cucumber specifically for urinary complaints long before we understood the biochemistry. 1 medium cucumber provides about 400 milligrams of potassium and costs less than $1, more cost-effective than any supplement. Eat 1 whole cucumber daily, sliced with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. The combination enhances mineral absorption. The sea salt might seem counterintuitive, but a tiny amount provides trace minerals without the sodium overload you get from processed foods, and the lemon juice amplifies the alkalizing effect. Together, these 3 elements create a synergy that protects your kidneys more than any single component alone. This next food combines 3 kidney protective mechanisms in one package, and most people only eat it in the summer. Watermelon delivers water, citrate, and potassium simultaneously, which makes it one of the most efficient foods for kidney stone prevention. The water content dilutes urine, reducing the concentration of stone-forming minerals. The citrate inhibits calcium oxalate crystallization, and the potassium alkalizes urine while reducing calcium excretion. But here's what makes watermelon especially valuable. It's rich in the amino acid citrulline, which your body converts into arginine, a compound that improves blood flow to the kidneys and enhances their filtering efficiency. Better blood flow means better toxin clearance and less stagnant urine sitting in the renal pelvis where crystals tend to settle. Think of your kidneys like a filtration system with thousands of tiny pipes. When blood flow is sluggish, debris accumulates. Watermelon flushes the system. Research from the University of Aberdeen showed that citrulline supplementation improved markers of kidney function in people with early chronic kidney disease, which suggests the compound has direct renal benefits beyond just hydration. 2 cups of fresh watermelon provide more fluid and electrolytes than most commercial sports drinks, without added sugar or artificial ingredients. Eat 2 to 3 cups of fresh watermelon daily, preferably in the morning when your urine is most concentrated from overnight fasting. The natural sugars in watermelon are balanced by fiber and water, so they don't spike blood glucose the way processed sweets do, and the hydration effect kicks in within 30 minutes of eating. Here's where things get counterintuitive, because raw spinach is one of the worst foods for kidney stones, but cooked spinach might be one of the best. Raw spinach is extremely high in oxalate, the compound that binds with calcium to form the most common type of kidney stone. For decades, doctors told stone formers to avoid spinach entirely. But new research revealed something surprising. When you cook spinach, you reduce its oxalate content by up to 50%, and you unlock its magnesium, a mineral that binds to oxalate in your digestive tract before it ever reaches your kidneys. Magnesium acts as a decoy, grabbing onto oxalate in your intestines and escorting it out through your stool instead of letting it get absorbed into your bloodstream. This is critical, because once oxalate enters your blood, your kidneys have to filter it out, and that's where it can crystallize with calcium. Cooked spinach gives you the magnesium you need without the dangerous oxalate load. The error most people make is either avoiding spinach completely and missing out on its benefits, or eating it raw and overloading their system with oxalate. The correct approach is simple. Always cook your spinach and pair it with a calcium-rich food like cheese or yogurt, because calcium binds oxalate in your gut even more effectively when consumed together. 1 cup of cooked spinach provides 157 milligrams of magnesium, more than a third of your daily requirement. Steam or sauté spinach for 3 to 5 minutes. Then mix it with a tablespoon of ricotta or feta cheese to maximize oxalate binding in your digestive system. The cheese doesn't just add flavor, it's performing a biochemical function that protects your kidneys from the oxalate that cooking didn't eliminate. This next vegetable has been used for kidney complaints for over 2,000 years, and modern science finally discovered why it works. Celery contains a flavonoid called apigenin, which reduces inflammation in the delicate tubules of your kidneys where stones form. Chronic low-grade inflammation in kidney tissue makes those tubules more prone to crystal adhesion. It's like having a rough surface where particles stick more easily. Apigenin smooths that surface at the cellular level by inhibiting inflammatory cytokines. But celery also acts as a natural diuretic, increasing urine production without depleting potassium the way pharmaceutical diuretics do. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found that celery seed extract increased urine volume by 26% in animal models, while simultaneously reducing markers of oxidative stress in kidney tissue. That combination, more urine flow plus less inflammation, creates an environment where existing microscopic crystals get flushed out before they can grow, and new crystals struggle to take hold. The diuretic effect is gentle but consistent, which is exactly what your kidneys need for long-term stone prevention. Celery is one of the few vegetables that remains alkalizing even after digestion, which helps maintain the optimal urine pH that prevents stone formation. Eat 4 stalks of fresh celery daily, or juice 2 cups of celery with half a cucumber and drink it mid-morning for maximum diuretic effect. The juice is more concentrated than eating the stalks whole, so you get a higher dose of apigenin and potassium in a form that's absorbed quickly. If you're noticing that these foods work together in overlapping ways, you're starting to see how kidney protection isn't about one miracle ingredient. It's about creating a pattern of intake that shifts multiple variables in your favor simultaneously. If this information is changing how you think about kidney health, just tap that subscribe button. You'll be notified when we release protocols like this. Most people trying to prevent kidney stones focus on what to avoid, but this next food is all about what to add. One medium avocado contains almost 1,000 milligrams of potassium, more than 2 bananas, and potassium is the single most important mineral for preventing calcium-based kidney stones. Here's why. When your potassium intake is low, your kidneys compensate by retaining sodium and excreting more calcium into your urine. High urinary calcium is one of the primary drivers of stone formation. But when you flood your system with potassium from whole foods like avocado, your kidneys excrete sodium and hold on to calcium, keeping it in your bones where it belongs instead of crystallizing in your urinary tract. Most Americans get less than half the recommended daily potassium intake because they eat processed foods that are loaded with sodium and stripped of potassium. The wrong approach is eating a low-calcium diet to prevent stones. That actually backfires because dietary calcium binds oxalate in your gut. The right approach is eating high-potassium foods like avocado to reduce urinary calcium while consuming moderate amounts of dietary calcium from yogurt or cheese. Avocado also provides healthy fats that reduce systemic inflammation and improve nutrient absorption, which supports overall kidney function. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that people who consume the most potassium have a significantly lower risk of developing kidney stones compared to those with low intake. Eat half to one whole avocado daily, sliced over a salad with lemon dressing, or blended into a smoothie with cucumber and spinach. The fat in avocado helps you absorb fat-soluble vitamins and antioxidants from the other vegetables you're eating, which means you're getting more protective compounds into your bloodstream with every meal. The last food on this list is the biggest surprise of all because it doesn't just prevent stones, it can actually break down crystals that have already started forming. Fresh basil contains acetic acid and powerful antioxidants that actively destabilize calcium oxalate crystals. While most of the foods we've discussed prevent new crystals from forming, basil goes a step further. It can dissolve existing microscopic crystals by disrupting the calcium oxalate bond at the molecular level. Think of it like using a solvent to break apart a hardened substance. The acetic acid in basil lowers urine pH just enough to make calcium oxalate less stable, while the antioxidants, particularly eugenol and rosmarinic acid, reduce oxidative damage to kidney cells that would otherwise promote crystal adhesion. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that basil extract reduced kidney stone size in animal models and decreased the number of calcium oxalate crystals deposited in kidney tissue. The herb also has mild diuretic properties, which helps flush out the dissolved fragments. This is why traditional Ayurvedic medicine used basil specifically for kidney and bladder stones. The ancients observed the effect even without understanding the chemistry. What makes basil especially valuable is that it's safe to consume in large amounts and works synergistically with the other foods on this list. Fresh basil is more potent than dried because the volatile oils that contain acetic acid degrade during the drying process. Add 1 cup of fresh basil leaves daily to salads, smoothies, or steep 10 to 15 leaves in hot water for 10 minutes to make a kidney-cleansing tea. Drink it twice daily. The tea is surprisingly pleasant, slightly sweet with a peppery finish, and it gives you a concentrated dose of the protective compounds without having to eat a massive salad. Now let me tell you the 4 mistakes that cancel out everything these foods can do for you, because I see patients make these errors constantly, and then they wonder why stones keep coming back. Mistake number 1. Adding sugar to your lemon water. Sugar acidifies your urine and promotes inflammation, which completely negates the alkalizing effect of the citrate. If you need sweetness, use a tiny amount of raw honey or stevia. Mistake number 2. Eating these foods inconsistently. You need to change your urine chemistry every single day to prevent stone formation. Eating a cucumber once a week does nothing. You need consistent daily intake to maintain the protective effect. Mistake number 3. Not drinking enough plain water alongside these foods. The foods alkalize and provide minerals, but water dilutes the concentration of stone-forming compounds. You need both. Aim for at least 8 to 10 glasses of water daily, more if you sweat heavily or live in a hot climate. Mistake number 4. Ignoring sodium intake. Even if you eat all 7 of these foods perfectly, a high-sodium diet will still increase calcium excretion and promote stone formation. Processed foods, restaurant meals, and adding table salt are the biggest culprits. Keep sodium under 2,000 milligrams daily. Here's exactly how to use these 7 foods together as a complete kidney stone prevention protocol. This is what I walk my patients through step by step. Every morning on an empty stomach, drink 1 cup of water with the juice of half a fresh lemon. Wait 15 minutes, then eat half an avocado with a pinch of sea salt and black pepper. This kickstarts citrate production and floods your system with potassium when your urine is most concentrated from overnight. Mid-morning, eat 1 whole cucumber sliced with 4 stalks of celery. You can dip them in 2 tablespoons of hummus or guacamole for fat and flavor. This provides hydration, potassium, and the diuretic effect of celery right before lunch. For lunch or dinner, include 1 cup of cooked spinach mixed with a tablespoon of ricotta or feta cheese. The magnesium from the spinach binds oxalate, and the calcium from the cheese binds even more in your digestive tract. Afternoon snack is 2 to 3 cups of fresh watermelon. Eat it at least 2 hours after lunch to maximize the citrulline absorption without interfering with meal digestion. With dinner, make a large salad and add 1 full cup of fresh basil leaves, torn, not chopped, with lemon juice and olive oil dressing. Or steep 15 basil leaves in hot water for 10 minutes and drink the tea after your meal. Drink at least 8 to 10 glasses of plain water throughout the day, spread evenly. Don't chug it all at once. Your kidneys work best with steady hydration. Within 72 hours, you should notice clearer, more frequent urination as your kidneys start flushing accumulated debris. Within 1 week, you may notice less lower back discomfort if you had any mild inflammation. Within 2 weeks, your urine chemistry is shifting toward the protective zone. Within 1 month, microscopic crystals that were forming are either dissolved or flushed out, and new crystal formation is dramatically reduced. This isn't a temporary fix. This is a sustainable eating pattern that protects your kidneys for life. If you know someone who's had a kidney stone, or someone who's terrified of getting one because it runs in their family, share this video with them right now. Send it to a friend, a parent, a coworker. This information could save them from years of pain and emergency room visits. And drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 foods you're starting with today.